Let's start with the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, all correspondence is on file with the town clerk's office. We have one county legislator here. Don, you've got the floor.
Thank you.
It's already on. It should be on.
Good evening.
There should be a green button on it. Just make sure that it's on.
It's on.
Okay.
Good evening, town board and residents. Don Sagliano, county legislator from District 2, which covers 2/3 of the western side of Pleasant Valley. I wanted to get in here. I haven't been able to make the last few meetings due to scheduling conflicts. We just finished now at the end of November, and we adopted the tax levy in December for the county, and I wanted to share some of the results of what occurred during that process. As everyone knows, it was a very challenging time financially. Sales tax revenues were significantly impacted early in 2020, primarily in the March, April, May timeframe, as the county got back into allowing dining and other events. Sales tax revenues did rebound, and that's the primary non-taxpayer support is the sales tax revenue. So there was about a $25 million decrease in sales tax revenue over 2019 is what the county is projecting. We have a $500 million budget, so it's about 4% of the revenues of the county. So what the legislature did, as well as with the administration, county executive, and department heads, they decided to do an early retirement program. About 150 employees elected for the early retirement program. It wasn't just a fill-in-the-blank situation. If an employee wanted to elect the early retirement, the department head or the branch head or the business manager for that unit had to approve it. Over 225 people applied, so that meant 75 people were not allowed to partake in the early retirement. And what that early retirement did was it created about $11 million savings for 2021. So that was helpful. The department heads could only allow an employee to take the buyout if they approved it. So one of the departments that lost 30 employees was Community and Family Health. And there was a lot of concern there because through this COVID crisis, that department has been working very, very hard and very tirelessly. But I'm not a clinical psychologist. I can't run that department. We relied on the department heads and their team, and they assured us several times in the budget hearings. We had long budget hearings. Can you provide the services to the community and to the county? And they kept on saying, yes, yes, yes. So we have to allow ourselves to be, managed by the professionals who are working in that environment every day, much like in the probation department. There's one of your town board members, he was a former member of the department. And there was a lot of requests, but they could not all necessarily be met because the utmost thing was to make sure that services were not curtailed. So through the budget process, that was one of the overriding factors that helped us to be able to come forward with the budget with no tax increase. This is the 7th consecutive year where the tax levy has not increased. How did the county do that? Well, we did it because over the last 7 years, we've been able to accumulate a fairly substantial fund balance. It's equal to about 3 months of the expenses of the county. It's not a huge fund balance, but it's sufficient enough to allow the county to financially maintain its status and provide services. Some of the things in the 2021 budget that we put in place was investing in our children, a new youth advocate program, preschool readiness. The state, Governor Cuomo put forth a police reform initiative, and all the police departments within Dutchess County have to submit a program and a plan. And that's tied to state funding and state funds. There's 5 new positions in the health department to support the COVID handling and maintenance of caseload and workload. $24 million for roads and bridges. 210,000 senior meals. So if there's seniors that need meals, the best place for them to reach out to is to the Office of the Aging. A couple other things that the county and other related entities. I also serve on the IDA, the Industrial Development Agency, and the Local Development Corporation for the county, and the legislative designee on the board. One thing that we did early in the summer was allocate $500,000 of the fund balance of the IDA for emergency loans for those businesses that didn't have the availability to go through the PPP program at the time. Several businesses did take loans up to $10,000. They had to be very small enterprises, mostly sole proprietors or I believe under 5 employees. So those opportunities are there if you know of any local businesses that are in need of a quick thing. The process is relatively quick. It's about a 3-week turnaround. So that's just something to consider with some of the local businesses. Going back to the budget, I was very happy to push to reinstate the digital grant program for the libraries. We have a very active library here. Last year, God bless you. Last year, the county awarded a grant to the Pleasant Valley Library. So we made a budget amendment and we put $50,000 in for the library. So hopefully our library will follow through with another grant for the upcoming year as they look forward to rebuilding that building. So I just wanted to give an update on the budget and wish everybody a Happy New Year, and we'll see you in January.
Thank you, Don.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor.
Thank you.
Thank you. In regards to the application from Peckham Industries that is on the agenda tonight, the town board received a scanned version of the application from the town clerk on 12/24, and the maps, being too large to scan, were given out tonight. As the town board needs time to review this process requires this to be referred to the planning board, our town planning board, for recommendations, as well as the county planning before any public hearings. This application will also need to be reviewed by legal and engineering. We are in receipt of all your letters and emails of your concern, and they will be read and taken into consideration. I have them right here. So far, we've got 11. As a reminder, there will be 4 minutes for each resident to speak, and you cannot use anyone else's time slot. With that, I'll entertain a motion to open the meeting for agenda items only.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Before we get going, so am I to understand that they sent an application incomplete?
Complete.
How is it complete?
It's right here. You have a copy
Well,
of
it's
it.
complete now.
It's now complete. Mhm.
Now complete.
Yeah,
But
no,
when
no.
it was put on Christmas Eve, which I find very distasteful, okay?
Aye.
But when it was sent in on Christmas Eve, it was not complete, correct?
The-
That's what I said in the email.
Yeah,
Right?
just because the
Okay.
copies were
I just
too
want to be
big.
clear.
Yeah.
I got to get back in the game here, all right? So they were incomplete in sending in an application on Christmas Eve.
No, they were complete. We just
No, they were
couldn't
complete.
scan them.
The
We couldn't
scans
scan
were
them.
incomplete.
Okay.
Because we don't have a way to scan 24 by 36-inch maps.
Okay? Sorry, Phil, I didn't mean to.
Okay, we're open
Stop you.
open to the public. Let's go.
Phil Apicino, Ravine Road. I stopped at the town hall today and I wanted to see a copy of the application so I could get familiar with it, and I was denied access. As far as I understand, these are public records and I should have been able to look at them. Can I get a confirmation from the board that this is a request to rezone residential land in the quarry zone?
I haven't read it. I haven't even opened it, Phil. I'm in receipt of it as I walked in the door.
Well, I haven't seen the maps, but I've read the rest of it. I'm prepared. Yes, it appears to be, it's a rezoning.
It's a rezoning request.
Well, that is what it says on the front of this binder I have in
Yes.
front of me, so I'd
I
have to
didn't see
say
the
it's a
maps, but-
petition to rezone.
Okay, so that's clear. I want to remind the board that these parcels have restrictions on there that were put on by previous town boards, that were filed with the Dutchess County Clerk's office, and I've brought this up numerous times, asked the board to honor those restrictions. The other thing I would like to bring up is the fact that this is spot zoning, and it's basically illegal. If you look at the terms of spot zoning, the first thing is it says, must be consistent with your comprehensive land use plan. Our comprehensive plan says we have one quarry, and it plans to limit it to one quarry in that quarry district. It also says they have to be compatible with surrounding uses. It also says that they cannot harm surrounding properties. So an attorney should really look at this to see if this is spot zoning, and if it needs to be rejected on that alone, it should be rejected. And I don't understand why we're going right to the planning board and zoning board and Dutchess County Planning Department. I thought this board was the one that sets up a public hearing first, and the public gets a chance to come out and speak. I don't agree that it should go to public hearing. I think you're putting the residents through something they've gone through. This is the third time. This was rejected by a town board in 2000. It was rejected in October of 2019. There was a public hearing here. Public came out in total opposition to this thing, and it was stopped. What I don't understand is why you would even consider bringing this quarry operation closer into the hamlet of town. You're going to directly affect an additional 34 homes that are along North Avenue and Creek Road, which have a total assessed value of over $9 million. Those 34 homes, if this expansion was allowed to go forward, will crush them over the years and just destroy their values. I'm not talking about the other homes around this whole town that are affected every time they blast and noise the dust. These are homes that are just going to be adversely affected just by this additional pit. And I went on Dutchess County Planning. I've got all the names, the parcel numbers, and their assessed value. The quarry's assessed for $2.7 million with 61 acres of residential land they added, so they were even less than that before that. So you're taking almost $10 million worth of assessed value land, and you're going to just depreciate those values of those homes. I would also like to ask if the board, besides the issue with spot zoning, just reject this application and not put the residents through this again. It's unfair to the residents. We got dragged out. It destroyed a lot of residents' holiday this week between Christmas and New Year's. It's a sad thing to see happen, take advantage of this situation. And I want to thank all the residents that came out. A lot of them today, for some reason, were told by the clerk's office that Peckham was pulled from the agenda. So they called me and said they weren't coming to the meeting because it wasn't going to be on the agenda.
Mr. Cappuccino, it's 4 minutes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Can I say something, just to clarify? First of all, Mr. Appuccino did not get his FOIL filled today, because the town board did not get all the paperwork yet. I told Mr. Appuccino he will get it tomorrow. The town board needs to look at all the information first. Second of all he was told was Peckham was not going to be here tonight. Peckham wasn't being totally removed from the agenda. He was not going to be here tonight. I just want to clarify that for the record. I cannot give records that the town board has not seen yet. Thank you.
Suzanne Horn, 1971 Route 44.
You can remove the mask
Do I
If you
have
feel
to?
comfortable.
if you feel comfortable.
I'm good. Can you hear me?
Yeah?
Can you hear
Okay.
me?
Yeah, they can hear you too. I can see you.
Okay, good. So, I'm going to talk about Peckham, obviously, first. The public has pretty good idea of what the application is about. It's to rezone land, rezone to allow their land use of mining in a residential zone. To me, at first blush, it's spot zoning, and I also feel that you as a board can reject this out of hand. Being a longtime resident, I've seen other applicants who have requested to perform a commercial operation in a residential zone, and they were told out of hand that, you know, it's spot zoning, you can't do that, and they were very politely discouraged from going any further. So my other concern is that since you received this on Christmas Eve, which was on the cusp of a four-day break for normal business, it's impossible, in my view, for anybody on the board to have had time to read this application thoroughly, and one council member has described it as being 5 miles long. So I don't see how you have had the time to thoroughly look at it, analyze it, and debate it tonight when your own rules of procedure would require at least, at the very minimum, 3 business days to look at a resolution that you're going to debate. So with that in mind, I'm asking the supervisor to please pull the resolution, and in the alternative, if the supervisor does not want to pull the resolution immediately, to at least put the resolution up for unanimous consent. And for anyone who doesn't know what unanimous consent is, it would mean that if the resolution is offered by the supervisor for unanimous consent, any member of the board can deny unanimous consent, and then the resolution is put off for another time. So that's all I have to say about this resolution tonight. If I've got another minute, I want to say something about another resolution, if I may, and that's the Baroni resolution. Do I have a minute?
Yes, you do.
Okay, so the Baroni resolution, Baroni recycling is now under the observation of I think the third zoning administrator, and it has been being recommended for a renewal of its license. I've complained about this in the past, not to the current administrator, but I feel that if Baroni keeps parking its recycling materials or any other vehicles or apparatus that are not in accordance with their site plan, which is very specific about what can be parked in front of the gate by the road, namely employee vehicles or visitor vehicles. Anything else is not allowed out in front, and I'm observing for months now, I don't know if they're trailers or tractor trailers right out in front. Sometimes there are 3 of them from the building to the road, and it just gives that neighborhood commercial zone an industrial look that is inappropriate. So I'm very happy that you've appropriated money for zoning administrator in the budget. Okay, and now I'm asking you, as a condition of the renewal, to ask the zoning administrator to enforce the terms of the site plan. Thank you.
Just a correction, there is no resolution tonight for Peckham.
Okay, thank you.
Whoever wants to jump up.
Carol Campbell, 122 Marshall Road, Salt Point. If there's no resolution before this board, why is it on the agenda?
We received the application.
And you had to put it on the agenda before looking at it so we could get all the residents upset about it? That's what it looks like. And second of all, I heard that it was going to be pulled from tonight's agenda, and I spoke to Jen this afternoon. And Jen told me that it was indeed pulled. But here it is, so which is
It's not a
it?
resolution.
But it's still on the agenda.
Yeah, it's just, we accepted their application, you know, their application, okay?
Okay, and my
That's
next
all.
question is, how are we supposed to know that in 2 words?
If you can't figure it out, I don't know what to tell you.
Peckham application.
Yeah.
Why was it
Did you listen to
necessary-
the statement I read in the beginning?
I heard your statement,
Yeah.
Frank, but I'm trying to figure out why it was necessary to put this on an agenda for December 24th. I wrote a note, and I'm going to reiterate. We've got COVID. We can barely operate our town. But we're going to take on a zoning application, a rezoning application, which is a large process. And I want to make sure that there's a level playing field. I keep hearing all about Peckham being a great neighbor. They're not a great neighbor. They put an application in on December 24th. How is that being a great neighbor to this town? And I think in good faith and protect the residents of the community, which you are all elected to serve, you need to deny this application. All right? It's been before us many, many times, as Phil said. It was here in 2019. This is spot zoning. This is 100% spot zoning. Let me read you the definition of spot zoning. It's the process of singling out a small parcel of land for a use classification totally different from that of the surrounding area for the benefit of the owner of such property to the detriment of other owners. Now let that sink in. This application is definitely spot zoning. Bower Park. We have a beautiful playground at Bower Park. We have walking trails that the quarry was nice enough to let us use. This is going to be 200 feet from our playground. Does anybody on the board here think that that's a good use of this land? I don't. You know, I'm a little tired of hearing everything about Peckham being a good neighbor. I found out today that Peckham bought some property in Wingdale, town of Dover, over 600 acres. Desolate piece of property, not near a bunch of houses like we have here in Pleasant Valley. Their seeker application has been approved. I haven't had a chance to call the town supervisor in Dover, which I do plan to do, because this was just kind of sprung on me. So I'm tired of hearing about Peckham's hardship. If they have a 600-acre parcel in Wingdale, which is still in Dutchess County, there is no hardship. There is no need for Peckham Industries to come down in here further to this hamlet and ruin all the houses around it. The other thing I want to talk about is another item on the agenda, and that's the fuel tanks. When I was supervisor, we had a problem with the fuel tanks. They've been there a while, and I get that.
Carol, your 4 minutes is up, please.
$147,000 for fuel tanks is ridiculous.
While we wait for the next microphone to be clean, can I make a proposal? I propose that this board not entertain any application by Peckham. And we should honor the agreements that have already come before us. I think that we should put that into a resolution and end this once and for all.
If that's a motion, I'll second it.
I think we really need to let our attorney look at it as he said he was going to.
That's fine, but I think for the
First, I
sake of
think we
our
need to do
people,
that.
I think stop putting them through all of this anxiety, especially around the holidays, especially in probably the hardest 1-year, 10-year period I have ever lived through myself. I think it's the most ridiculous thing to keep hopping on. It's been denied several times, and end of story. Let's honor the prior agreements, and let's move on, and stop putting our people through this.
So the only, I know you, you and I have talked about this. The only question that I have is that we talked about a lot about was procedure. Being that they already put in the application, I don't know if if we vote to say for yay or nay on this, not saying we're going to do either, but if we did vote, I don't know what has been already put in, by them submitting this to the planning board, would we have to then just do it again? That's my question.
I don't know the
Yeah.
procedure either. I tell you what, I make another proposal that we table this until we all know the procedure back and forward, and that we can honestly vote on it and put it to rest once and for all. And I say we put it, what is it, January 6th is our next meeting? And I know that's the reorg, and I know that's very busy, but that's what we got to do. We got to work. I've had a lot of sleep, folks, so I'm very energetic these days. So I got no problem going 12-hour meetings like we used to.
I would
So-
say that, I agree with that.
Okay?
Because we don't have the legal, like I read here.
Yeah,
We
we
it
don't-
has to, we don't have the legal opinions yet. You know?
Yeah, we
So I
really
think
need to go
delaying-
So this would be helpful to have our attorney here when these things, especially these things, are talked about. We could actually go to, like I was taught, you can go to the attorney who would be sitting right where that young lady is there. I'm sorry, I don't know your name.
Jen?
That's Jen?
Mhm.
Nice to meet you. He'd be sitting right there, and we could ask that question, and everybody in the room could hear it, and we
So
could
why don't
hear
we-
it.
why don't we
Excellent
do it
point.
on the 6th, and we'll have Rich Olson here.
Let's have it on the 6th. Rich Olson here, anybody, well, I don't think we'd have to have, I'm going to put the proposal up, the resolution that we not take any more of these applications and honor the ones that came from previous boards who obviously knew the procedure. And we can go from there.
Mrs. Lansing sold that land to Dutchess Quarry, and in the sale, it said, continued on no quarry.
Yeah.
And I may say to the folks who are here on behalf of the quarry, and I know some of them you are, I understand that you work there, and I appreciate that. However, there is plenty of things that the quarry's got going on that you'll be working at, I guarantee it. They're not hurting, all right? What's hurting is they're moving closer and closer to this town. And until I took the time and investigated exactly how intrusive it has become, I didn't realize. I used to avoid coming through this town because it took forever. All right, I'd go to Hibernia Road to Conic, and I'd go to work. And until I spent 4, 5, sometimes 6 turns of that light on North Avenue, and then have had to move my car backwards so they can make a turn, run off the road myself, I says, this is something to look into. And I went and I found out and I discovered that this has been denied several times. So there's no reason why we should be going through this again. And I think, I don't mean to interrupt you, I'm sorry. And I honestly say that what really was the straw that broke the camel's back was that they actually had the audacity to put this on the agenda and give it to us on the 24th of December. I'm sorry, that irked me the wrong way.
Why don't we do this, John? This is an open meeting to the public, and we're debating the
I
public.
know,
So,
I'm sorry, I don't mean to, I just saw while we had the opportunity, I wanted, maybe we
We can
can
discuss
squash
this
it.
when we get back to the regular agenda.
Okay.
Okay?
My apologies.
You still got your 4 minutes, Gary.
Get your own 4 minutes.
Gary Veter, South Point Turnpike, Pleasant Valley. I like this aging process. I learn something new every day. And I forget 6. The planning board has I'm not here to support or go against the quarry at this point, but the procedures are nowhere near what are outlined. The planning board, as far as I can remember, and I can be corrected, but I have never seen an application come in and go to a town board town board meeting on the agenda in 3 days. There are many applications, there used to be, more than probably now, but there were applications for rezoning. They weren't put on a town board agenda. The procedure is to accept it, the town clerk stamps it as it's coming in, received, refer it to the planning board, right then. Planning board does their investigation into it, and it also goes to the county, and you wait for decisions from both of those bodies. Then it comes in front of the town board. That's just normal procedure. Putting it on an agenda here, Merry Christmas. Second one, before my time runs out. Discussion on a transfer station, is that up for a motion?
No, it's going to be up for a motion next month. We're going to talk about fees tonight. We think we ironed it all out with the exception of, I think, one fee.
Thank you, Supervisor.
They're all watching.
Good evening. Greg Straley, 47 O'Halloran Circle. Back on November 5th, Gary Beck turned in the paperwork, and I asked the board, turned in a paper, asking the board if it's going to be accepted in a resolution, and I'd like to know what the answer is on that. While you look for that,
that's
Frank,
not-
I'll go to the next thing.
Yeah.
No,
It's not,
it's not a resolution.
there's not a resolution for it. There's not a,
No.
It was just, all it was a letter that was read
yeah.
from Gary Beck
And all it was a letter that was read from him. That was his statement
to us.
to us.
All right, are you accepting it as a resolution, or?
No,
Just because it's
no, no.
not a resolution, so nothing's going to be done about it?
No, we're not, so there's no, like, we're not, I guess, are you asking for us to make a resolution to accept that as like a physical?
Yes,
Oh, yeah, I don't think that we would do that.
okay. All right, so bonded concrete, Peckham, the blacktop end of it is an outside business, correct?
They lease it, yeah. Not the asphalt.
Not
Excuse
the
me?
asphalt.
The asphalt's not an outside business? Since when? Since when?
It's owned by
It doesn't
Peck.
matter who it's owned by, it's totally separate, it's not the Peckham mining end of it. Excuse me?
Subsidiary. Part of it, but underneath the different entities.
All right, bonded concrete. Why are they starting before 8 o'clock in the morning? It's an outside business. It's not part of Peckham whatsoever, owned by totally somebody else. They're renting there.
Okay, first of all,
Yep.
we're supposed to be talking about agenda items only.
No, I could talk about anything on this.
No,
That's at
the
the
end.
end.
The beginning's agenda items only.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay. And, all right, so I gotta wait for the end to pick this up.
See you in a minute.
Still here, Jesus.
My name is Grata Silvari. I live in 28 North Avenue, Pleasant Valley. Almost 2 months ago, a Saturday morning, the people from the company, the quarry, they have the big tractor there. It's my house, it's my driveway, and right there, they was knocking down the trees. Was 8:30, 9 o'clock in the morning. Okay, my little one, he got all scared. He comes in and says, Mom, can you stop them because they're knocking down the trees? It's not right what they doing to the trees. I come out, I see, I didn't know what's going on. The dust was all over my house, all over. And I didn't know who to call because it was Saturday morning. And I guess what? I called Frank, and I was surprised. He answered the phone, and he talked to me Saturday morning. I was shocked. I didn't even know it was his cell phone. I just called. I had the number because I talked with him before about this issue, and I really appreciate it. He answered the phone, and I explained he didn't know what was going on. And even in these days, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what happens. They just open a road there. They make all dust. They knock down the trees. I don't know what happens.
Where
And
is your house?
208 North Avenue.
Yeah, but like, just give me an idea.
It's the last house on the, you know, when you go up North Avenue, Mary, and there's those four new houses on the right-hand side.
Yeah.
She's the last house.
The last house
The
is,
last, I think it's a blue house, right?
yes, like,
For the quarry.
Okay.
I thought I got back to you on that, because what they were doing was making a roadway to get, put a seismograph up on top, so they could record the blast. That's what they were doing.
yeah, from that day, they never came back to do anything else. Just that Saturday morning.
And they put the seismograph up there, and then
Right.
they had to
And they
get,
put the signs like, don't pass the property or something like that. And that's it. I didn't see anything else happen after that.
no, because they put the seismograph up there to record the vibrations. That's why they were getting the equipment up there.
Yeah, because they used to get the equipment right in my property, and I told them, because every time it was dropping somebody else, and I just did the driveway, and they was like making marks, and like, I said to them, like, can they park somewhere else, don't park here. So, anyway, we did this last year, we went through this. This year is a terrible year. It's not, COVID-19 for us, we still have to go through this again. Last year, we just did that. And was rejected or whatever. Like, why they have to do this now, and especially now in Christmas, COVID-19. I think they taking advantage because they thinking, my neighbors, many of them, they don't come because they are scared. And believe me, I'm here, but I'm really scared to be here because I didn't know how many people gonna be here, and my neighbors still told me, like, I can't come in because I'm scared. They taking advantage of this, the COVID-19, and that's not right. That is not right. It's Christmas, it's holiday, we have enough stress. This is on top of everything else that what we have to go through. You guys have to stop this because I don't want to go this again next year. When they blast my house, it's shaking. It's shaking. Like, sometimes I forget, what is this? What is this? I've been here in almost like 5 years. November 2nd, 5 years in the house. And I still, like, every time that happens, I still jump and I'm like, what's happened? What happened? I have to think 10 minutes later, I'm like, okay, is it working? It is scary. We don't want to go through this every single year, and especially now. They should not take advantage of this because of the COVID-19, because people, they don't want to come out, people, they are scared, people, they're not going to come here and speak up. They taking advantage, and you have to check on this, please. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Mike Reifenberg, 45 Ryan's Run. I'll echo what everybody else is saying. I think it's kind of strange that they wait till the end of the year on Christmas Eve to submit an application, especially during COVID-19 where it's very difficult for residents or they're scared to come in. One question, this was put on the agenda that was put out on Christmas Eve. Was it the intention that Peckham was supposed to come in tonight and give a presentation to the board when this was originally put on the agenda?
That's correct.
Okay, so what happened and why aren't they here?
Because our attorney talked to their attorney.
Okay, so
And
what
he-
this looks like to me is that Peckham was going to be on the agenda, they were going to show up, and then when they saw the outpouring of people on Facebook, they decided that they're going to not show up tonight, put this off for another month, listen to all of us complain, and then they can come next month prepared with defenses against everything that they hear tonight. So I find that interesting that they were all of a sudden going to come here and now they're not here. So
No, actually, that's not the process of it. This goes to the attorney and the planning board. This does not stay with us at all.
So who told them?
It has to go through all kinds of process.
I understand
Excuse
that.
me, Carol.
Can I finish my 4 minutes and then?
Sure.
Just so I can get
Sure.
it all out
Yes,
because my
go
time's
ahead,
still
'cause
clicking
I
away.
will let- I will-
I just find it strange that all of a sudden they're not here. Just a little bit of facts. This isn't Dutchess Quarry that we're talking about anymore. Dutchess Quarry is the quarry that was here for decades and decades that everybody wants to keep talking about. Peckham Material bought this quarry knowing how much rock was left that they were able to mine. So I find it interesting that now Peckham Material is going to say, oh, well, the families, the people that work here are now going to be in trouble losing their jobs. Peckham is a corporation. I think they can go probably for another decade with what they have, but they knew that when they bought this quarry. So I don't think, is it the town's responsibility to now come and step in and give a corporation the ability to expand when they knew that that's what they were getting into? And they had a choice to buy Dutchess Quarry. They didn't have to buy it. Nobody forced them to do it. They knew this before they bought it. And if they didn't do good research. Also, I just want to remind the board that the quarry is inside the aquifer protected zone, which is within the comprehensive plan. You can go in and read what the town's supposed to be doing in those areas. And just a couple of questions that I hope the board members ask themselves about this application. Is this expansion that's proposed, is this going to negatively affect the residents or positively affect the residents of the town? Is it, I already hit that one. Does this application fall in line with the town comprehensive plan that we spent years and thousands of dollars on creating? If approved, would the rezoning be spot zoning? I personally believe this would be spot zoning, which would make it illegal because it's going to benefit the owner of the property. Are they still offering the land behind Bauer Park with part of this land swap? If they are, I don't think that's a reasonable reason to do this. We still have how many acres up at the end of West Road for decades that the town hasn't done anything with? Was the original intent of the land that's being discussed when they bought this, was it to provide a buffer between the quarry and the hamlet, which we all know it was? And just a month ago, the zoning administrator put out a letter saying that he has no way to enforce any zoning within the current quarry, so do we really want to expand a quarry that this town has no say over? It seems kind of strange that we would do that. And I think that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, excellent.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Rolando Bedini, Arbor Hill Drive. I want to thank the board for having given us the information what is going to be read in the board meeting resolution, which is the first time which I received it and I like it. And I apologize for our citizen here, which you can only criticize without, it was told to them that it has been pulled. Why do they want to keep talk about this? It's getting not safe to you. Thank you.
How about a nice round of applause for Jen for doing a phenomenal job of cleaning that podium each and every time.
In the interest of saving time, anyone else?
I hear a motion.
Wait, did
Did you
anyone
want to say
else?
something, sir?
No.
Oh, okay. Anyone else? Hearing none, I move to close the meeting to the public for agenda items.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, carried. All right, let's get down to the first item on the agenda is resolution number 183 of 2020, compensation one-time payment for Justice Sears. Whereas Justice Thomas Vasti resigned on September 21st of 2020, thereby leaving the administration of the Justice Court solely to the responsibility of Justice Sears. And whereas the town board on October 14th appointed Michael Kozak to temporary term of town justice through December 31st, 2021, and whereas that appointment was thereafter challenged by Michael McRitchie, resulting in Justice Sears having to cover both courts involving 10 sessions of former Justice Vasti's court until December 7th, 2020, when the petition challenging the appointment was dismissed. Now therefore be it resolved that the Town Board, Town of Pleasant Valley, does hereby acknowledge and thanks Justice Sears for his additional service and deems it only fair that he be compensated for his time as an additional benefit and not as an increase in his salary in the amount of $5,200, representing the time spent per diem from Justice Vasti's salary for the additional 10 court sessions. And this has been cleared by both town attorneys, David Wise and Rich Olson.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
I just want to give a little fact here. That little McRitchie, how could I describe it? Lawsuit, frivolous lawsuit, that's what I was searching for, cost the town $4,040. Okay, the minutes, let's approve the minutes for the workshop on 11/4/20, special town board meeting 11/12/20, regular town board meeting 11/18/20, special town board meeting 12/2/20, and workshop meeting 12/9/20.
I'll make a motion to approve all minutes as written.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, carried. Number three, resolution number 184 of 2020, installation of a new fuel management system at the Highway Department. At the regular meeting of the Town of Pleasant Valley, Dutchess County, on December 28th, Eastern Standard Time, I'm reading the wrong thing here. Okay. Resolution dated. Be it the resolution authorizing expenditure from the Capital Equipment Reserve Fund established for equipment purchases of the Town of Pleasant Valley, Dutchess County, State of New York, in the amount not to exceed $143,667 for the purchase of 2 new above-ground storage tanks with dispensers and fuel management system, and removal and disposal of the existing fuel tanks and equipment. Be it resolved that the town board as follows. First, the town highway department, in order to continue with its maintenance of town roads, must add and replace equipment to maintain operational capability. Second, the town board has determined that the existing fuel system is antiquated and in immediate need of replacement due to the age and deteriorated condition. Third, the town board thereby, by adoption of this resolution, authorizes the purchase to the Office of General Services in the amount not to exceed $143,667 from the Capital Reserve Equipment Fund to purchase and install a new above-ground fuel tanks, dispensers, and fuel maintenance system. Said funds to be expended from the Capital Equipment Reserve Fund. Equipment Reserve Fund, subject to applicable law with reference to Capital Reserve Fund transfers. Fourth, this resolution is adopted subject to a permissive referendum as provided by law. Fifth, the resolution shall take effect immediately. The question of the adoption of the foregoing resolution was duly put to a vote on a roll call, which resulted as follows. Roll call.
Well, we got to approve it first, so I'll make a motion to approve it.
Second.
Second.
Any discussion?
Yes. Now, I understand that when these fuel tanks were first put in, it was actually a joint venture between the Highway Department and the Fire Department. Both the Highway Department and the Fire Department get fuel there, and now your Fire Department, of course, also enjoys getting fuel at government price there, tax-free. I would like to know what share of this bill the Fire Department is going to cover before we even go any further.
I'm not sure the fire department,
So the fire department,
Yeah, go ahead.
so they're covered, but like we give the fire department taxpayer funds every year. Like the budget, it's in the budget that we sign checks to the fire department. So it's all, they're taxpayer funded, Keith. So
Yes,
this
and
is all-
so are
this is all
we.
tax-
What's
this
your
is-
point?
This is taxpayer money.
Exactly that.
Exactly that. This is taxpayer money going to fund something that taxpayer money will use, both the fire department and the highway department. It's a, right.
Yes, but it's two separate budgets, and I feel that the fire department should be sharing some responsibility for this from their budget. This is a big hit for us. 143 grand ain't chicken feed.
No, it's,
How big of a tank, too?
it's,
Okay, and the highway department isn't helping to protect us when they plow the roads. What's the difference?
What's the, does anyone have a copy of the original agreement who put those tanks in?
when were they installed? How old are they, John? 1993.
When were you supervisor?
Not that long ago.
Just checking. Why don't we
Yeah, there
just
wasn't anything
table
in
this till we
there.
find out for sure if there's anything that we're, I mean, I'll be honest with you, $143,000 is a little shocking. No
It's,
question about it.
I was shocked, but this is the lowest bid. This is the lowest bid.
And that's the lowest bid.
Yeah.
So if there is a way
And I
that,
have to tell you something, we can either pay this, honestly, or we can pay the fee, because this sucker is just so close to letting loose, and the holding tank around it, I've seen it for myself, it's got all holes in it. So when that stuff comes out and goes out onto the ground, it goes down into the creek where it's next to, I can't even begin to tell you what we're gonna get charged. It's
well,
probably.
I believe that, and I know when someone's oil tank leaks into the ground, it becomes a real
Right.
hazard. However, that brings up the point that gentleman back there, I don't know your name, sir, was just about to make. Why are we going above ground again? And why aren't we, wouldn't this be something that?
We have to go above.
That's the only
ground.
choice.
No,
You
we
can't-
don't have any choice.
You can't go below.
There's two tanks. There's one for diesel, one for gas, and they're,
Gas tank's 4,000 gallons and the diesel tank's 2,000
thank you.
gallons. The new tanks will be 2,3,500. UL 85, bullet resistant.
And no fancy bells and whistles on it.
This
We,
is like-
we specifically talked to the gentleman and didn't get any bells and whistles on this thing. Two of the companies wanted us to go with all this modern stuff that goes to the cell phone and everything. It just was ridiculous.
I think,
a tough bill.
my 2 cents is we passed the resolution. It's all coming out of the same pockets, the taxpayers, whether you take it out of the fire company budget or the town budget. And we have a reserve fund set up for this, so let's do it.
Yeah, I mean,
We
knowing,
need to get this
knowing, yeah, right, knowing how bad in disrepair this thing is, we could split hairs about this later and who's gonna pay for it, because we have 45 days to wait, but we could really, I mean, like, we should really just approve at least take the money out so that the clock starts ticking, is really what this resolution
And
does.
Johnny, we found nothing in reference to what you were asking.
Okay?
Roll call?
Roll call.
Councilwoman Bowman.
Aye.
Councilman Del Vecchio.
Aye.
Councilman Mazzello.
Aye.
Councilman O'Hanlon.
Have some reservations, but aye.
Supervisor Szynski.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Okay, number 5 is resolution number 186 of 2020, establishing rental rates for the use of equipment for the Highway Department for 2021.
You missed one. 185. You skipped one.
Oh, I skipped one?
The,
Oh, this is for the bids for the...
yeah. mhm.
Yeah.
Yep.
This is, I won't even read this whole thing. This is 185, 2020, awarding the bid for the highway materials and services. I don't think it's necessary to read all this. I mean, let's just go.
So I'll make a motion to approve it as written.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
What'd you say? Mhm.
I-
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, carried. Now we're on to one. Establishing rental rates for the use of equipment for the Highway Department for 2021. This is resolution number 186. Again, I don't think it's necessary to read it, let's just do it.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion?
Mr. Supervisor, if I could, just real please, just like to put on the record that the town does hold, that if we have to use, other materials from other places, that we can do so underneath the state bid.
Okay,
We gotta make sure that that's on the record.
okay.
All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed, carried. Number 6, resolution number 187, 2020, amending the town of Pleasant Valley Town Clerk's hours for tax collection for 2021. Whereas the regular town board meeting held on December 28th, the town clerk's desirous of amending the hours of operation to better facilitate tax collection in 2021, now therefore be it resolved, the hours of operation from February 1, 2021 through February 28, 2021 shall be Monday and Wednesday, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m., Tuesday and Thursdays, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m., Friday, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. And the hours of operation from March 1st, 2021 through May 31st, 2021 shall be Monday through Thursday, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m., Friday, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Resolved, the town clerk is also authorized to file the hours of operation with Dutchess County Real Property Tax Department and post as per New York State town law.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Resolution number 182 of 2020, amending the 2020 general budget transfer of funds. Whereas the town board of Town of Pleasant Valley has expenditures for the 2020 adopted budget line that will exceed amounts available in such budget lines, and whereas the bookkeeper finds it necessary to amend the 2020 adopted budget to meet these expenses, and whereas the Town of Pleasant Valley has funds available and other lines it needs to transfer such funds to provide for such expenditures, now therefore be it resolved, the town board of Town of Pleasant Valley hereby authorizes, empowers, and directs the town supervisor to amend the 2020 adopted budget as follows. Appropriations account A8160442, hauling, increase $22,000. Account A1620-429, repairs and maintenance, increase $5,000. A1910-400, insurance all, increase $3,000. Account A1420-452, special prosecutor, decrease $4,000. A1620-201, building equipment, decrease $14,000. A1670-441, service contracts, decrease $10,000. A1930-400, judgments and claims, decrease $2,000.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Carried. Okay, the second transfer of funds. Resolution number 188 of 2020. Whereas the Town Board, Town of Pleasant Valley, has expenditures for the 2020 adopted budget line items that will exceed the amount available in such budget lines, and whereas the Highway Department finds it necessary to amend the 2020 adopted budget to meet these expenses, and whereas the Town of Pleasant Valley has funds available in other lines and needs to transfer such funds to provide for such expenditures, now therefore be it resolved that the Town Board of Pleasant Valley hereby authorizes, empowers, and directs the Town Supervisor to amend the 2020 adopted budget as follows. Account number DA 5130-483, equipment repairs, increase $15,000. Account DA 5110-447, general repairs, material and other, decrease $15,000.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, carried. Town Board Resolution number 189 of 2020, amending the general and highway funds budget transfer. Whereas the Town Board of Town of Pleasant Valley has an expenditure for the 2020 adopted budget line items that will exceed the amount available in such budget lines, and whereas the bookkeeper finds it necessary to amend the 2020 adopted budget to meet these expenses, whereas the Town of Pleasant Valley has funds available in other lines and needs to transfer such funds to provide such expenditures, now therefore be it resolved, the Town Board, Town of Pleasant Valley hereby authorizes, empowers, and directs the Town Supervisor to amend the 2020 adopted budget as follows. Account A 7110-100, Parks and Personal Service, increase $120. A 5010-100, Superintendent of Highways Personal Services, increase $1,600. A 1220-100, Supervisor of Personal Services, increase $450. Account A 7140-100, Playgrounds and Personal Services, decrease $120. A 1990-400, Contingent Account, decrease $2,050. Highway Fund, Account DA 5110-100, Grounds, General Repairs, Personal Services, increase $1,500. Account DA 5142-100, Snow Removal, Personal Service, increase $120. Account DA 5130-100, Machinery and Personal Services, decrease $1620.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Carried. Okay, resolution number 191. Is that right?
Yeah, 190.
Yeah.
190, where's 190?
I don't have 190.
I don't have it either.
The next one I have is 190. Oh, 190 is behind it. 190 is Barone. 190 is Barone.
Okay, so
So
we'll
we'll
do,
add a number.
okay, so we'll do number
191?
We'll do number 199, the budget transfers.
Okay.
191, 2020, amending the general fund budget transfer of funds. Whereas the Town Board of Pleasant Valley has expenditures for the 2020 in items that will exceed the available in such budget lines, and whereas the bookkeeper finds it necessary to amend the 2020 budget to meet these expenses, whereas the Town of Pleasant Valley has funds available in other lines and needs to transfer funds to provide for such expenditures, and now therefore be it resolved that the Town Board of Town of Pleasant Valley hereby authorizes, empowers, and directs the Town Supervisor to amend the 2020 adopted budget as follows. Account A 7020-401, Recreation Administration, increase $300. A 7110-200, Equipment, increase $2,150. A 7110-405, Facility Repairs, increase $17,000. Account A 7110-429, Parks and Repairs Maintenance, increase $7,100. Account A 7140-466, summer camps, increase $1,300. A 7140-499, miscellaneous, increase $2,000. Account A 7020-428, recreation administration software, decrease $300. A 7140-100, playgrounds rec center personal services, decrease $29,550.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Carried. Okay, resolution number 190. This is the authorizing the renewal of the auto salvage yard license for 2021 for 1913 Route 44 Baroni Recycling Incorporated. Whereas there is a licensed salvage yard located at 1913 Route 44, and whereas pursuant to Chapter 62 of the Town Code, there are no new auto salvage yards permitted in the town, and whereas the auto salvage yard is subject to a license which is renewed on an annual basis, whereas the zoning administrator has duly reviewed the application dated November 30th, 2020, which was referred to that office by the town clerk for a period of January 1st, 2021 to December 31st, 2021, pursuant to Chapter 62 of the Town Code, and has recommended that the license be renewed by memorandum dated December 9th, 2020. Now, therefore, be it resolved, the Town Board, Town of Pleasant Valley, hereby concurs with the recommendation of the zoning administrator that the license should be renewed for an additional year to expire on December 31st, 2021, and further be it resolved that the annual license for 2021 shall be subject to the conditions set forth in the zoning administrator's memo dated December 9, 2020, and resolved that upon payment of the applicable fees, the town clerk is hereby authorized to issue such a license for 2021, subject to the conditions set forth herein.
I'm going to make a motion to approve this, but as long as we add in that they follow the site plan that was set forth by them.
Yeah, I'd like
Agreed.
to, I'd like to
Agreed.
talk to them about that.
Yeah, so I mean, like, let's add a resolve that, they have to comply to their site plan.
Right.
And then I will gladly make a motion to approve this. So the final resolved is that, resolved,
That they adhere,
Baroni Recycling Incorporated must adhere to their site plan, period. And then I'll make that motion.
Second.
second.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Carried. Okay, resolution number 192 of 2020, authorizing payment of abstract 12 and 12A of 2020. Whereas the town board has audited the bills presented by the town clerk and an abstract has been compiled, now therefore be it resolved, the town board hereby authorizes the supervisor to pay all claims as follows. Abstract 12 of 2020, general fund claims, $80,785.35. Abstract 12A of 2020, general claim funds, $60,306.63. Abstract 12 of 2020, highway fund claims, $20,230.81. Abstract 12A of 2020, highway fund claims, $9,413.54. Abstract 12 of 2020, ambulance, $10,415. Abstract 12 of 2020, streetlights, $3,962.73.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Carried. Yeah. On the number
For-
9,
For number, yeah, for the transfer station, I think we hashed out via email a proposed price list for the transfer station. I just wanted to reiterate, because I think the only thing that is what do we charge for the membership fee?
Well, I proposed, and I based some of the figures that I was working on $100. Okay? $100 comes down to about approximately less than $10 a month. Okay? And I think that that's a fair number. I think our savings, if we apply that amount of money, that revenue from that, to the roll-off vehicle, or whatever it is, what do they call it? Roll-off truck.
Yeah.
I think that would help. Then the bigger saving would be the fact that we can deliver it and not have it picked up. And I think that probably, if you look at that number, it brings us way closer to almost breaking even.
Right, and just so everyone out there watching, as well as here, the conversation that we've had via email, that we're contemplating taking the bag price from $4 to $6. It's currently in $4 and $6. We're moving it to $5 and $7. So only $1 increase. But we're entertaining an annual dump fee. The idea behind it being we get charged for recycling, but we don't charge the residents for recycling. So this is just a way for us to help absorb those costs. Wait. The meeting at this point is not open to the public. So yeah, that's for the town transfer station. So yeah, with that being said, I guess what I'll do is we'll type up a formal, for the workshop meeting, we'll have a formal price list that everyone can digest, and then we'll vote on it the following meeting.
well,
I think we're very close.
Go ahead.
I hate to bring up a sore subject, but the compactor is done, correct, John?
Well,
So we got that expense to consider too.
Right, well,
but there's some different avenues with that also. So we'll have more of that to give to the board first before we do anything with that.
We don't
But
have any idea, John.
one thing though, Johnny, about the amount. After Ellen Kuttner, who was an absolute angel, worked with me on this extensively. She did all the outside work and I did the internal work. And there isn't anybody in Dutchess County charging $100. So that's why the majority of the people charge.
Well,
$50.
my thing was, if you charge $100 up front, but not change the fees. In other words, one of the advantages, I have, what is it, Royal or Welsh or whatever, they're all the same. That's Welsh is Royal, same company. What I like is, I could put anything in that garbage can. As long as it's in the garbage can, they take it, all right? And what we're doing here is we're now having more of a picky kind of thing with the garbage, whereas what they can put in, how much it weighs. We're talking about a scale possible. This way, our seniors aren't hit at the packaging, at the spot where they dump. They put whatever they can in that bag, and we take it, all right? I was thinking more of the seniors than anything else. Whereas they keep the prices at the same where they were. The $100 fee is no different than, let's say, an Elks Club membership, where you pay your one-time fee, and then you're still got to pay drinks at the bar or whatever else you're going to be using entity of that building. So it's the same type of deal, but you get in your garbage and you can put anything you want in that thing in the bag, as long as it stays in the bag. You know. I just thought of streamlining it, making it easier, and then the revenue you take from that $100 licensing fee to be a resident and utilizing our service, you then take that revenues that are collected and you put it towards these failing things that we obviously have. So I didn't know the compactor now is on its last legs. It just seems like
As of Friday, I think, yeah.
everything that we own in this town is on its last legs. It's appearing that way. So at least the money that we save by delivering it ourselves, we can also put that towards
Yeah,
that.
I completely agree with that.
That has to
That's in the
happen.
process
I believe
also.
Mr. Vetter that's how it originally was set up, to where it was actually, if not breaking even, making, I guess, I don't know.
Yeah.
So there's where, somewhere along the line between you and now, we lost it. We lost that thing for whatever reason, I don't care.
And we're also open a lot longer than anybody else. We need to cut our hours of being open down to
We can do
10
that.
hours instead of 20.
We could do that.
Which would be a huge savings.
And the non-accepting of commercial garbage and stuff like
No
that.
commercial, a lot of things would end up going to Recycle Depot now.
So I think we're close.
Yeah.
I think we're closer
Yeah.
than we've been on this
Oh,
idea.
absolutely.
Definitely.
And now with the new information, that's great, but I think we have a way now, we can actually,
Has it really?
This month alone was the worst income.
well,
Well, I can only imagine.
bad year.
Yeah.
Well, this particular month was very hard hit.
Yeah.
Hit me. Hard hit.
I mean, I don't know can somebody give me an idea of how many bags of garbage that someone would bring, an average person? I know it takes, my little bag, I take about 4 or 5 little bags down to my driveway every week. But if you're going to the compactor, I don't imagine you're gonna take a bunch of little bags, right? You gotta take 1 or 2.
You're gonna get a contractor bag.
Okay. So, if it's once a week, it's
Hey, I
$10
think
a month, it's, it's still less than having to go to Royal
Yeah.
or Welsh.
I think the one-time fee.
Because I would spend $16 a month as it is now. I bring a bag every week.
Okay.
So you're losing money with me. You're gonna charge $10 a month.
All right, so get that man's name.
Yep, yep. We'll put it on his property tax bill.
All right. So we're close, we're getting there.
We're getting there.
And we're getting there, and we're covering the pitfalls, which,
Well, actually, if you figure it out, at $100 a year, that's a little under $2 a week.
Yeah,
so,
so,
it's not that bad.
no.
Is that in addition to the price per bag?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. We were originally talking about getting a scale, weighing the bags, it's time consuming, it's expensive, it's, and then charging per bag, per weight.
Yeah.
And it got to the point where let's just streamline this and do it right back here. The man who architected the whole thing, it's basically the same as that, and just an added fee that proves that you're a resident. You get a sticker on your car or some kind of thing, proof that you're a resident of the town, and it's a privilege that you have that, and not just someone showing up with a bunch of garbage. Sure.
Not the same.
The discount percentage
discount's
might
gonna be
change, I think, to the final price list, but they're still gonna offer a discount. But I don't think 50%, I mean, we've offered 50%, the town has offered 50% to seniors, I think, since as long as I've lived here. I don't know if, we're still offering a senior discount, but I can't imagine it's gonna be 50%.
No.
And not to mention, there's a lot of people that still don't use it because they don't know it's there. So if we finalize on these prices, and when we come to how we're going to operate it, we could then turn to the residents with the programs and bring it to light that it's there as an option. Do you want to pay Royal Carding and Welsh, or do you want to use the one at the town? It's an option at that point, once everything's settled. So I think we can get an increase at that point, and revenues will go up for that.
But the recycle bin is too small.
Well, it's breaking anyway, so.
Yeah.
You want to go to discuss the Peckham?
Well, sure, either that or open the meeting to do we want to-
No, I think what we should do, I've been thinking about this while we're discussing things. On the Peckham application, I would like to see that move to the 13th. That's our regular meeting. And then, because the 6th is going to be the reorganizational meeting. It's just going to take, how many
yeah.
resolutions I have to read, right?
Yeah. Yeah, there's 60 resolutions for our meeting on the 6th, so, I agree that.
I was just getting practice tonight.
Yeah, just so that we're not here forever, I think that maybe I'm okay with that, yeah.
So
So what I'm to do is to send my proposal for a resolution to Mr. Olson, and he's going to write it?
Yeah.
Is that what you want me to do for the 13th?
Yeah.
Not a
Copy
problem.
me on the email, yeah.
Not a problem.
Okay, so that's settled with that. All right, now we're going to open the meeting to the public for anything.
I'll make a motion for it, yeah.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Mary Beth, I apologize if we went off on the wrong foot this morning. We're frustrated. Honestly, from what we can see from the meeting is that it should have never got on the agenda in the first place.
I completely understand.
Yeah.
But I just so, I cannot give information that the town board hasn't gotten yet.
Well, they had it, that's.
No, they
No,
didn't
no.
have it, it wasn't completed.
I know.
It wasn't completed, so,
So if I understand it right, not on the 6th now, on the
13th.
You're gonna go to the attorney first, and he's gonna look at procedures
Right.
to see if we can vote on a resolution to reject the application.
I
Correct.
think what we'll do, Phil, is have the attorney here.
Excuse me?
We'll have the attorney here on the 13th.
Okay, good.
What I'm going to do is I will,
The question ahead of time, so we can.
what I'm going to do is I'm going to draft the resolution, give it to the attorney, and on the 13th, we will be able to vote on it at that point, and the attorney can answer any questions at that point.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, the other thing is, okay, so that's the resolution for it. What about the, we were talking about sending this to the planning board. So that's gonna be tabled for now?
That's
My
the
under-
normal procedure.
My understanding was that was the normal procedure. They see it first before we do.
That's.
So,
that's confirmed
what-
by the
Right.
attorney that it goes to the planning board before it's approved by the town board?
Yes.
No.
We don't approve anything.
Yeah, it has to pass them first. We're just approving the zoning change.
We don't get it until the very end, and we take the recommendation of the planning board.
Yeah.
Here's the problem I have. The planning board's been rubber stamping everything for this quarry for years, and that's why you have so many residents here complaining about the noise, the dust.
Well, you have a lot of new planning board members. So that's a difference right there also.
I wasn't aware, I thought there was one stepping down.
No, there's a couple of new people.
The other thing, could you ask the attorney to review spot zoning? And
Yeah.
have him look at this, and if he tells you it's spot zoning and it ends it, that's another way of enforcing this.
Very viable question, Phil.
Well, he works
Yes.
along with the planning board. The attorney.
Oh, yeah.
So we're gonna look into the spot zoning and also.
That's all right.
The last thing I had was, Mary, can you give me an idea why you support this expansion?
I never said I supported it or didn't support it, but I am not gonna not accept something to have it looked into. Everybody wants a damn something before it's even looked into, and that's what I don't like.
Okay, but
So-
we've gone through it so many times, I thought by now everybody would know all the facts,
No, absolutely not.
you know, from
Do
the
you
previous.
think everybody knows all the facts here?
No, I'm talking about.
anybody answering the
We did this
question?
in October of last year.
So just to clarify, though, October of last year it was just an informational hearing. There was,
The hall was packed.
oh, no, I understand. Trust me, I understand what it was. But there was no application at that time that was turned down. That's, right,
At
okay,
that time.
It was
there
very
enough people
difficult to hear.
Sent it packing and it disappeared.
right.
It was a zoning, they were gonna try to change the zoning, instead of the quarry having to come in and ask for a zoning change. So it would've been much simpler for them.
That was
Now-
only dealt with for one reason,
Hmm?
okay? Our past supervisor brought it up at a meeting one night in this room, where he
I
had a
remember
meeting
that.
with all the business people in Pleasant Valley. Is Suzanne still here?
No, she wasn't.
because
I was-
think
but I
she
was here. I
You
was
were
here.
there.
I was here.
Okay, it was brought up,
Oh,
and that's what opened it.
Right.
That's what opened
I'm
everything
well
up.
aware of how
And
they-
that's
and how-
why the meeting happened, is because everybody wanted to know what was going on.
Well, they were talking about three initiatives. One was housing over on Wigston Road, then there was the quarry rezoning, and then there was the rental property. So it was just something that was put together, and it wasn't really put together very thoughtfully. But
Well, I didn't have anything to do with that.
you know, the last question I have is, maybe you can all just ask yourselves, what good is this for the town of Pleasant Valley and its residents? Somebody, if we're missing something, please tell me what you see good, what good could come out of this by bringing this quarry closer into the hamlet, closer to homes. We just don't get it.
Again, I am not going to make any kind of comments until I know everything about it.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Phil. All right, whoever.
Gary, wait, let her.
Let her clean it first.
No, I can't do that. It's so disrespectful. I was gonna ask for recess before we started this, to be honest with you, but. She's pissed.
How are you? Oh, God, here we go.
I'm selling my shoes over here, it's okay. Okay. Couple things that are still unclear. First is the transfer station, $100 charge just to drive in. Is that what it is?
For the entire year, okay, and proof, you receive a license, it's a thought, you receive a license or a sticker proving that you're a resident.
Okay. Just having been in business for a long time before I do nothing, don't depend on everybody paying $100. And somebody asked how many people go there? More people than you can serve in one day. That's on the compactor. You're talking about cutting the time down less. It's only 2 days. Okay. The dreaded quarry. Procedure says that it goes to the planning board and the county planning board. If the county planning board gives a negative recommendation, it's a majority plus one to pass it from this board. So it makes a considerable change. So those are two things that are just the way it's done. It's been done, and well, that's just it.
Just while Jen cleans that real quick, Gary, you made mention of the transfer rates in the transfer station, and the recommendation to limit or to cut the hours comes from a recommendation from Royal. Royal Karting told us flat out that we're open for too long, and that like they wouldn't take it over from us because they wouldn't because we have too many hours. There's no way for them to make money, is what they exactly said to me. I'm just, yeah, according to people who have been in the garbage business and make a boatload of money doing it, are telling us that we're open for too long.
If you get the number of people you're going to get in one day, you're going to have cars running into each other.
Right, okay. Yeah,
I got to agree with that because there's been several times over the past 6 months that somebody almost clipped me going in and around.
You say that, but every other town has the lower amounts. Most of them are just open, like LaGrange is like what, how many times bigger than us? They're open from 7 to noon on Saturdays, and that's it.
we can call and get that information, but I don't, yeah. Go ahead, sorry, Carol.
I want to go back to the fuel tanks. Does the sheriff's office use them?
No.
I think they might have a while ago. I just wanted clarification. When Peckham was here in October of 2019, it was an informational meeting. And if I'm not mistaken, and please let me know, I thought that the former supervisor and town board decided to form a codification committee to, you know, review this and again, look into our code to see if, you know, we should make some changes because codes change.
You're correct.
And they're no longer apropos. Do we have a codification committee, and is it
Yes.
working on this?
I don't know if they've met, but I do know that there are a list of people on the codification committee.
We haven't met.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
I think with it being so
Yeah.
young, I think the issue would go to, from how I could see how this would play out procedurally, it would go to county planning, our planning board, and from there, once it hits our planning board, our codification committee would then be contacted, is what I would think would happen.
I agree with Johnny about the attorney and looking into it. And nothing against the current attorney, but our former attorney had a tremendous amount of municipal law behind him, besides the fact that he'd been here in this town since 1988. And I sat on this board when we had rezoning applications and we did rezoning. And I think what alarms me the most is that this made this agenda when it came before us, it never made an agenda. The procedures, just like Gary is talking about, were taken care of. It would go to the planning board, it would go to the county. And again, you know, the board, the people here shouldn't be concerned with it going to the planning board or the county, because they're only reviewing boards at this point. It still is totally in the hands of the town board. But what you have by doing that, you don't get everybody up in arms, because there might be something that comes back from our own planning board or the county, and you right then go, whoa, 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 whoa. I didn't see it that way. Or just as Gary said, there would be a supermajority needed if Dutchess County Planning turns it down. The other thing I wanted to talk about is I sent an email this morning about a memo that I sent to this to the town. I actually hand-delivered it on December 9th. And it was based on the memo that we got from Gary Beck about the quarry. When I was in here that night, I made some comments, but I wanted to have an opportunity to read code and take a look at what Gary Beck said. And I just want to reiterate so that the board knows and maybe the residents know. I agreed with a couple of things that Gary put in his letter. But what I disagreed with was that he stated that Chapter 70 nuisances is preempted by New York State conservation law and not enforceable by the town with regard to the quarry, Chapter 98, Section 9825. I don't believe that New York State law supersedes a local law. We spend a lot of time on our code. It's done to protect our residents, and I believe he's incorrect. Again, I had an opportunity to speak to a former zoning administrator because I just really wanted to get some ideas, another set of ideas about what he thought. And, you know, I was told that complaints refer back to our local laws. If you call the state, they're going to say it refers back to the local laws. Our code was written and adopted for a reason, to protect the residents. So I asked this board to send this to the town attorney.
That's your 4 minutes.
I just got one statement. I asked that they would consult because I don't believe that state law supersedes, and I haven't got a reply. So I just was wondering if this board could please enlighten me as to what might be taking so long and when I might get one.
When did you, I don't remember seeing that, actually.
I hand-delivered that, and it was signed, Mary Beth had it on.
Maybe, hold on.
It was signed.
While you're cleaning and while you're finding and you're going to answer, I'm going to
Go ahead.
hit the sandbox.
Yeah, go ahead. I'll go slow. No, I'll go slow, she says. Did you email it? Oh. No, the reason why I'm questioning receiving it was because it didn't come from her. It would have came from you. That's why I don't remember seeing it from Carol. Hold on.
Well, yeah, I brought them in person.
Yeah, no, I understand. I understand. No, go ahead, go right ahead.
I just wanted to say thank you to the board for adding to the agenda, opening the meeting in the beginning. You guys responded to the email and got that done. Thank you. Just speaking of emails, I've sent 3 over the course of the past month or so. Just with COVID and everything, I haven't gotten like the responses that I would think. So I just ask you guys if there's any way, just with everything going on, people might not feel safe coming here. With this going to the planning board, and I brought this up at the last meeting, I just want to reiterate it. I don't know if you guys spoke to the planning and the zoning department, but like at the past planning board meeting, the way it's being done for the ZBA and the planning board is that the town gives a 3-hour window in the middle of the day on one day during the week to call the town hall to then request either a seat or the Zoom meeting code. Especially with all this stuff going on and COVID, I really would like to see, I don't see why there's no reason anybody can't just call at any point during the day, on any day of the week, to request a seat for the ZBA or get the meeting code for the Zoom meeting so people can actually participate. Do we know, I know we're still trying to figure out the procedures, but can the residents expect, I know there was talk that Peckham's going to come at the next meeting to present. Did you guys know if that's actually happening?
I have no clue.
Did they postpone? Because earlier in the day it was that they're coming next month, but
I don't know what they're gonna do.
I mean, we can find out and get.
well, if they do come next month, can you guys limit them to like 2 people and not 5 or 6 people? Because it's limited seating in here, and last time they came, there was a good portion of them, and I'm sure people will want to come out. And then one of the emails I wrote, which I only heard back from Councilman Albrecht, so thank you, was about, I had a question with the budget. There was discussions during a budget hearing about getting rid of the data collector and giving the $15,000 salary to the assessor for 2021. I haven't heard back. Is that actually happening? Because during the budget hearing, it was discussed and the line item was changed, and it still was in there for the actual budget?
No, he is not getting it.
Are we sure?
So,
Possible.
yeah, we're, according to, the line item, the line item was changed to reflect some, I guess, changes that may or may not need to happen. But no, his salary is not going to change to that figure, no.
So is there still, do we know if there's still a data collector position, or was that dissolved?
That was dissolved into just the main line item, which kind of, you know, I mean, we could always move it later. Kind of gave us
Which
the
is for a
opportunity to do that.
salary.
It's for a salary. We put it in there for a salary, not necessarily a data collector, but for a salary.
Okay, so it's just,
Mhm.
it
Yeah,
is
we-
a salary.
It's just not
It's,
separated.
yeah, it's not separated.
Have a happy New Year.
Thank you. You too.
To you.
I didn't even see you walk back in.
I'm quick. Like the wind.
Greg Strelly, 47 O'Holland Circle. Since bonded concrete has nothing to do with Peckham, about hours of startup, what's going to take place?
With reference to what?
On starting at any time they want in the morning.
Well, they are under a specific state thing right now, and they are delivering to, what is it
They're
called?
delivering,
The
delivering
aqueduct.
to Eastdale. They're delivering to Eastdale Concrete, you know, the townhouses, the project there.
How do you know that?
Because I followed them down there, that's how I know it.
You follow them at 3 o'clock in the morning?
5 o'clock in the
You
morning?
follow them at 3
Yeah,
o'clock in the morning?
yeah. Well, they wake me up at, you know, they wake me up anytime, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock.
I'm just trying to help. Answer part of your question.
Up your 4 minutes, you can answer your question when you're.
So anyway, all right, so, you know, like I said, so let's not go there that it's a state job or this job or whatever job. They're going wherever they want. Okay, so if they start up at 4, then they're limited to that state job. They shouldn't be allowed to go to another job, even though they're open, in which they're using that as an excuse why they're opening. And then on the other note, when I put a request in
on the ethics board, on the emails that were sent out, I never got the original email from Rick Wilhelm. The first email, and then I never got the No, it was sent to me. There's no email address on it or anything. It is not a legal document. It is not the original email.
I resent it to you.
No, you typed it in underneath it.
No, I didn't.
I don't have the
I
paper.
can go to my computer right now.
And
pull
yeah,
it up.
I would love it printed right off the computer the way it is with the email address on the top the way it's supposed to be. Because if you look at all your paperwork that someone sent you email, the email address and the date and the timestamp is in that. I got it. It's in, and the email and all that was typed underneath it, which is not the way it's sent over the computer. Look at any one of your documents that are sitting there that someone sent you.
Well, you need to take it up with the ethics chair because your foils were filled completely.
No, they weren't, and there was no discussion whatsoever on that foil between the members.
You got what was foilable. That was foilable.
There was no discussion. So how did he hold a discussion forum when there was nothing in any of the emails?
I think you're talking to we can't answer for them.
I cannot know.
We can't answer for the ethics. You have to talk to Rick.
That's a private.
Okay.
That's a private group, and
All right.
they deal with the town attorney.
I bought my property, back in 2000, 99 or 2000, and I talked to Duchess Corey back then. Literally, I talked to Bob Surprise, and I still have Bob's number in my phone. Talked to him personally. He told me, he says, in 20 years, the mining operation will be done here. And Peckham knew this because Duchess Corey knew it. So let's stop letting it extend even farther. It was said back in 2000 from Bob Surprise that 20 years, that's all they had to mine.
Ken Wallace, Jaguar Avenue. To answer your question about the bond and start times, I'm a driver's bond, I'm not a boss or management. But we're starting at the hours we are at the request of New York State. We're doing a job for the New York City DEP, New York State DEC, for an aqueduct, and we have to operate at the hours that they give us. That's, I mean, like I said, I'm not a boss, I'm not management, I can't, but that's why we're open at that hour. As far as the East Dale and stuff like that, that's usually, we don't usually start that until later because we devote every truck to this aqueduct project first thing in the morning. And as far as the resolution towards Peckham, I understand that the voice comes out against Peckham. Why the voices for Peckham don't come out, I don't know. But I think to make a resolution to squash their application without it going through the proper process, I think, is foolish.
Just to defend my position, I looked at all the former applications. While I sat home and I had really very little to do, I had the opportunity to read all the other times that they attempted to apply, and they all said no. Okay, so all I wanted to do was save the town a lot of anguish, the state, the money, to save money for both Peckham and for us, and put an end to something that we're going to it's the same exact application for the most part, and I know I'm not for it. And at the same time, you're talking about we're worried about the people who might be losing jobs and stuff like that. There's plenty of work that they have for you on other sites. It's a union house, right?
Yes, I believe.
Right, so all you would do is go to your union rep and say, I need more work, if that was the case, and he'd have to find it for you.
But that doesn't work for my
I don't know exactly what you do there. I'm just saying,
Because I'm not affiliated with Peckham at all.
believe me when I tell you, it is not I did not look at everything prior, and I've looked at what was here, what I have here in front of me, what it was given to me. And it's not looked at. I'm not going by voices, I'm not going by social media or the amount of people that showed up here last year. I'm going by what I've discovered. And what I've discovered is the last boards that shot this down, it was the right thing to do then, and it'd be the right thing to do now for our town.
I disagree.
Okay?
And the other thing, when Bob Surprise had said that there was only 20 years left in 1999, in 2000, I believe it was 2005, the board could probably confirm that, they approved the quarry to go deeper, and that wasn't approved at the time you built your house.
We'll let them go deeper. They're in the water.
They won't do it. Right. They can afford it.
Exactly.
Not everybody in favor.
Laura Straley, 47 Ohio Circle. So just one quick thing, I just want to see, before the application gets put in, is there going to be anything for the air quality reports and the water studies? Anything happening with that?
Yeah, actually, yeah. I believe I was copied on an email that the DEC actually is going to do a water study, or an air study, rather. I don't know any of the particulars. I can find them out for you and get them to you. Yeah, sure, but I know I was passed on an email that we'll get back to you as soon as we get the results, or as soon as we conduct the study. But I'll touch base. Sure. Yeah, definitely.
You want to speak, Mr. Gadini?
Rolando Bedini, Arbor Hill Drive. Everybody here has criticized the board. I want to say something nice about Pleasant Valley. We had a snowstorm and the roads were clean at 8 o'clock in the morning, and they were much better than anything around here. I mean, I drove around and I have a four-wheel drive car, so, but here we were much better. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Would anybody else like to speak?
Hearing none, I move to close the meeting to the public.
A second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Carried.
And then I make a motion to adjourn the